What's up, legends? Today we are building on Lens Protocol, so it's going to be a real good one. I mean, number 1 year early. Lens Protocol hasn't even released on mainnet yet, or Polygon mainnet that is. So there's still a lot of innovation going on, really green fields, a lot of fun to build on. That's power, and the documentation is really, really good. So it's going to be a good one. There's a couple ways you can build on Lens. So there's Lens is this set of smart contracts for you that don't know. And you can see here, it's basically this composable, decentralized social graph, right? Allowing you to build on it straight out of the box, which is really, really cool. And the idea is your sort of create a social profile is decentralized, and you can port it and use it in a whole lot of different protocols. At least this is my understanding. So that's really nice. Like, you own your content, and it can now be easily plugged into a number of different protocols, which is super powerful that it can be ported over, and it's seriously modular and flexible. Super exciting. I actually built some stuff on Lens this weekend at ETH Amsterdam, and that's why I'm keen to show you more about building on it, because I think it's really cool and you'll dig it. So what are we going to be building today? We're going to be using Foundry, and we are going to be building a stake follow module. Okay, so if you don't know what a stake follow module is, don't stress. It doesn't exist yet. We're going to build it, but it's going to be cool, and you're going to learn a lot, so that's going to be great. We're essentially going to be extending the smart contracts, which is going to be pretty fun. So we're going to start off by forking the Lens smart contracts. But just to talk a little bit more about, what is a stake follow module, what is Lens? I mean, you can read the documentation and the explanations here. It's really, really good. But I want to give a crack at explaining it a little bit myself. I think you'll get a lot of benefit by seeing this. So I'm going to put on this weird little glove I have so that I can write stuff down. Okay, so let's imagine we have a content creator, right? This is our creator. I'm going to put them in this little box like this, so we know this is the let's just say creator. And you can think of, it's quite useful to maybe think of Lens like a decentralized Twitter to start off with, just so you have the same concepts in your head, but it's obviously a lot more, way more flexible, and there's a lot more going on. So think of the creator as your Twitter profile, right? You can mint this NFT that represents you as a creator in your profile, and then bam, you're good to go, right? So that's you at the start. Now you get followers, I guess, just like you would get followers in Twitter, and how people can follow you, how people can interact with your content, all of these things are basically designed or centered around this flexible thing called modules. And you as a creator can choose how that looks, right? So we're going to just start off looking at the follow module, right? And a creator can actually choose what their follow module looks like. So basically the creator is allowed to choose how people following them looks like, which is really cool. It can unlock monetization, it can unlock a bunch of cool different things. So the one option, the most simple follow module that exists, is a free to follow module. That just means anyone can follow you, like Twitter. Just click a button, pretty much anyone follows you. That's super chilled. And what's really cool is the people that follow you. So let's just say there's 1, 2, 3 people over here. Everyone who follows you as a creator gets basically a follower NFT, right? So you get an NFT, you get an NFT, and it might sound like, flip, that's a lot of NFTs, but don't focus on that right now. A lot of NFTs is good. It's not a bad thing at all. What this unlocks, if you read more, is stuff like on-chain governance, which is really, really nuts, right? So these follower guys, the NFTs follow guys and girls, they can help the creator vote on certain things, which is really cool, right? So the free to follow module is simple, and a lot of creators might just have a free to follow module. There's also a whitelisted follow module, so the creator can dictate only, X amount of people can follow them. Then there's a paid follow module, right? This is the second one. I hope you guys noticed I'm using a green pen here to go with the green Lens theme. And the paid follow module is very similar, except you basically just have to pay to follow the person and get the NFT. And these modules are all already built in Lens right now. The free module, the paid module. So let's just say again, NFTs come to these followers, but in order to be able to follow them, they pay, and there's some whitelisted collateral. It's like WETH and USDC or something. There's 3 or 4. I think there's also Matic. Let's just say it's 5 USDC. So this creator now owns their profile, can choose either the free follow module or the whitelist follow module, which we talked about. So there's also the whitelist one, or perhaps the paid follow module, right? Which is pretty cool. Pay to follow. And now this creator's got some monetization. Very cool. They've got 15 USDC, which is nice because they've got 3 followers. But man, there's so many different things going on here, and there's so many options and possibilities. I mean, personally, something we built in the hackathon, which is a bit more complex and very cool, is having different classes and tiers of followers, and basically having super followers or a golden circle, and how you actually create that mechanism efficiently and fairly. We use something called Harburg attacks, but we're going to do something way more simple, and we're going to code it up literally from scratch, from forking the repo. And that is a stake follow module, right? So that was bad. Underline, there we go. So the stake follow module, this is my logic behind it. Again, like, I'm not part of the Lens team. This is just me playing around. I think this is going to be really cool and something they might want to add. But free is a bit like, okay, maybe everyone's going to follow me, no skin in the game. Maybe there's going to be something like quite a lot of Sybil attacks. For you, those of you who don't know what a Sybil attack is, basically I just create 100 different addresses and I follow the creator 100 times, and I get 100 of these follower NFTs, and that would make stuff like governance really hard, because I can almost gain the follower governance by creating all of these profiles. And I'm sure the Lens team has thought of like a ton of things to stop Sybil attacks, but you know, maybe what I'm proposing now is also a good way. So paid sort of fixes that, because you have to pay a lot to follow the person, so it costs to Sybil attack. But a lot of people, they don't want their followers necessarily to maybe pay, right? Like, you want people, it's a barrier to entry, and if you want lots of followers to follow your content creation, you want to have this nice mix where it doesn't cost them to follow you, but you also don't want it just to be free where people can gain the system. So the staking idea is simple. It's, you have a stake fee. So let's just say there's these 3 people who are following again and getting NFTs, and to follow you, what they have to do, because it, you know, to make things cost, they have to stake, say 5 USDC, 5 USDC, 5 USDC. But the nice thing is we could write some logic like they get the stake back after, you know, 3 months or something. So if you follow this person, you got to put down $5 to follow them, but after 3 months you get your $5 back, which is nice. So it's more like just a little deposit. So that's what we're going to build, and it's going to be a good simple one to build off here. And what's nice about it is we can also do some other cool stuff. So like, if you've never integrated with Aave v3, what we can look at doing is taking all of the stake from users, and we can look to depositing it into Aave v3, earning some juicy interest, and maybe all of that juicy interest is going as revenue to the content creator. And it might not seem like a lot, but if you got a 90-day lock-in, let's imagine about a 4% APR, and let's just imagine you've got 100,000 followers giving you $10, or it's locking in $10. That's $1 million. 1% on $1 million, not bad. So yeah, that's basically what we're going to be building on Lens. So let's start kicking off with the stake module. So here's the lens.dev, the site. You can head to Developer Garden. You can check a lot of stuff out there. It's pretty sweet. This is what we're going to be forking. Aave Lens protocol over here. And I'm just going to go ahead and fork this. And I'm going to create fork. I'm going to fork it into moose code over there. That's me, by the way. Sweet. So I'm going to fork that in a couple seconds, and you can see what I'm going to try edit. So there's these contracts, there's the core contracts, interfaces, library, there's a whole bunch of different things, and then there's the modules we're talking about. And basically there's follow modules, collect modules, reference modules. We've just talked about follow. There's also like collecting content. There's a whole lot of powerful stuff, but we're going to go with follow. And you can see there's this fee follow module. That's what I was talking about. There's this, I think, approval follow module. I think that's the whitelist one I was talking about. And then there's just the profile follow module, which I think is just the free one. I'm not actually sure. We'll have a check right now. I just want to check if there's any like later branches. I think this branch is good. We'll be fine over here. Sweet. So I'm going to clone my thing into a nice new repo. I'm going to be using VS Code, doing some nice stuff with it. They have a really nice drop-down terminal, but the drop-down terminal I don't think is going to show, which sucks for you guys. So I'm going to just create it and chuck it somewhere else. I'm going to put it in code, and basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to call get clone, and I'm going to clone this into Lens here. I'm going to cd into my Lens protocol, and I'm going to hit this command code dot, which opens up my code editor. I'm going to chuck this onto another window now so we can see. But yeah, here's quite nice. Here's all of our good stuff right over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it with Forge. So there is Hard Hat, and we can compile stuff with Hard Hat that ships out of the box, but it's a lot slower. And you know, the sexy thing these days is Foundry. So we're going to Foundry init, or rather Forge init. And we can't run it on an empty directory, but to be honest, I'm just going to run it anyways, which is great. And I'm going to run Forge, and let's just see our Foundry toml. This is where we need to change some things. And actually before that, to be honest, what I need to run is yarn. So yarn is just installing all the node modules, and it's going to install that real quick. We need a bunch of those for things to work. And while that installs, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this across to the next screen so that you guys can see it. If I bring it up over here. Nice. Alright. Okay, so that's looking good. While this is installing as well, I'm going to basically fix that Foundry toml to do a few nice things that I wanted to do. So I'm going to go back into something that I've just prepped over here, which is super quick. And you can see in this Foundry toml, there's a whole bunch of config options. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of these ones. You can see it's saying the sources here, but you can see there's a contracts folder here. We don't want this source folder. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to override these, and I'm going to say the libraries we're using are node modules. That's sort of what the yarn was installing, as well as some Forge libs, and I'm going to save that over there. I'll also bring the terminal in here. You can see for some reason I've recently just got a corrupt history file on my ZSH. Okay, this is nice and clear already. So let's get rid of that. And what we're going to do is we're going to run forge build. Is it going to give me that error every time? No. If I run it once more, it's going to work. Nice, let's go. So it's compiling all the files, which is really nice. We can read the documentation over here. So if we hit developer garden, read the developer docs. Again, what we're building is, remember, this cool stake module. You can see here is the major concepts, the follow, right? So following on Lens differs to Web 2 social applications. Users who follow a profile, they are given a follow NFT. which creators and communities can encode with additional value. That's what's super cool, right? Certain NFTs can be the ones that collect your content. There's a whole lot of different things. What I was saying is profile NFTs, which are creators, that's what I've called, they can attach a particular follow module. So I've talked about there's the just regular free follow, there's the paid, and there's the stake one, which we're going to build now. And these follow NFTs are just given sequentially in increments of one. And here we have the built-in, governance stuff, which is really cool. So we look forward to seeing all of the new follow modules that the community comes up with. Yeah, power to the people. That's us today, hey? Building this pretty sick follow module. So in terms of creating a follow module, here's some introductions. Follow modules are called when a user attempts to follow a profile. So our code's going to call, and that code is going to basically suck USDC from the user, stake it, maybe chuck it into Aave, etc., which is pretty cool. Profile owners can also opt to have no follow module. There's free to follow, subscription mechanisms. There's lots of stuff to think of. So that's what we're going to be building, which is really cool. In terms of creating a module, there's a bunch of things over here that you want to be familiar with, but basically there's really nice documentation. As I said, there's this interface, this iFollow module, the module base, a bunch of things that you want to have and import. And basically, I think the easiest way to do it is I'm actually just going to go ahead and in the contracts, okay, you can see that's compiled really nicely there. Now if we run forge build, you're going to see boop, compilation skipped, not much has happened there. Core, we are going to go into modules, we are going to go into the follow modules, and we're going to look at a simple module, this fee follow module. And what I'm actually just going to do is basically copy this module to start off with to have a really good base to go from. So I'm going to copy this over here, and I'm going to say a new, and I'm going to call this stake follow module dot sol, right? Generally I'd probably be writing tests as well while I write this, but I'm not going to do that right now. So first let's take you through a little bit of this fee follow module, a bunch of the things that are going on. You can see there's a lot of imports, like let's not worry too much about them right now. Some of the usual ERC20 stuff that you always see. And then obviously there's a bunch of libraries and interfaces we pulling and conforming with. Here's the profile data, the currency, the amount, and recipient. So again, nice little struct, and this is essentially in the fee follow module, what currency you're going to pay, how much, and who's going to get it, right? That's pretty cool. You can see the smart contract inherits from the fee module base and the follow validator follow module base, so basically extending those. You can see we've got a bunch of different things going on here. We have to initialize the follow module, and basically this is what happens when the creator chooses their follow module. They have to initialize it with some arguments, and those arguments might be stuff like what is the you can see it's got bytes call data over here. This is the arbitrary data parameter, and when you're initializing it, you're basically saying people are going to pay me with, they're going to pay me 0.02 with to follow me, and the recipient is going to be a DAO or me or something like that. That's what's going on with this initialize follow module over here, right? And it's saying only the hub can do it. This is a modifier. It will be inherited by one of these contracts, because this contract's inheriting these contracts. You can't see the modifier anywhere, but that's why this modifier works, and that makes sense, right? The hub, this is this big ass contract over here, Lens Hub. This is doing like a lot of all the badass stuff, and the hub is doing all of the cool things. So you'll see over here there must be a follow module over here, interaction logic dot follow. This will make sure that the stuff that's happening in the follow module is actually going to happen. All right. So we're on initializing the follow module over here. We know what's going on. Going to keep going on further over here. Here you see we have an external function, again called by only hub. That means the user is not going to call this function directly. The user is interacting with the lens hub, and the lens hub is calling this process follow. It's looking at the address of the follower, right? The profile ID. And again, what's it going to do here? You can see some real simple stuff. It's saying, it's getting the amount, it's getting the currency, validating the data as expected. That's real nice. You can dig into that function. It's actually also getting treasury data here. It seems like besides the recipient, there's a treasury amount and some treasury fee. I don't know who that treasury is or where that treasury is. Maybe that's Lens monetizing it. For our purpose, I think I'm just going to get rid of the treasury. No fees for the treasury. We're just going to stake. And then you can see what we're doing is we're taking the currency address, we're wrapping it in the ERC20, we're transferring it from the follower to the recipient, and it's the adjusted amounts. And if the treasury amount is greater than 0, it's doing the same. So we'll just remove the treasury stuff. And then you get some other cool hooks, right? So we don't need to execute any additional logic on this one, as it says, but these hooks allow you to do some pretty sweet stuff. Hooks basically like give you this power to, once someone has followed, do something random. So follow module transfer hook. This is basically saying everyone gets an NFT, right, when they follow you. What happens if this person wants to... I need to get my thing back on. Imagine this person wants to send their NFT to this other person. Some custom logic might need to happen if these follower NFTs get transferred around. I mean, I haven't looked at it long, but I'm pretty sure that's what this is to do with. It's going from one person to another. This is the ID of the follower NFT token. There might need to be something, but this is just saying nothing needs to happen. Once someone's paid 5 USDC for it, if they send it to their friend, like whatever, no logic needs to happen there. And sweet, that's about it. So you can see this is not even that long. It's about 117 lines, the smart contract, and we might want to do some other cool stuff. So I think I'm going to cap this one over here and check that the quality of the sound and video is not so average. And then we're going to come back in a second and we're going to start building the stake follow module, right? So we know what a fee follow module is. We want to build cool modules. We want to extend Lens, make it even better. We're going to build a stake follow module. And yeah, just to recap, Lens is got this really modular, cool social graph where there's so much stuff that can happen, like all these DeFi protocols, NFT protocols, they can use it. So sweet. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll be back with the stake follow module ASAP Rocky.